He's stuck in his mind, will, and emotions. And the Spirit of God is trying to talk to his spiritual man, but ain't no communication. Okay, the original order is spirit, soul, and body. That's the original order. But when man fell, it moved out of order. Now it's soul, spirit, and body. What happened was, now this is going to get you. The soulless nature merged with the spirit. I'm not going to make you merge, you all right? Merge with the spirit. And now they're kind of like one. You can't tell which one is which.
Come on now.
Yes. Oh, wow.
You can't tell which one is which. Since the garden, they merged, and sometimes you don't know if it's spiritual. You can't tell which one's which. There's no distinction. Huh? Yeah, sit down. I got something for you now. Now, you can go ahead and have a seat. Y'all can have a seat. Now that the soul has merged with the spirit, and you can't tell which one is which, let's go to the book of Hebrews in the 4th chapter. Yes. Let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews the coffee.
Hebrew, that's right.
Yeah. That's how I remember it. Okay, now, stay with me. Stay with me. So now we got this problem. And that's what happened in the body of Christ. The nature, the soulless nature. The soul is the mind, the will, and the emotions. Now, here's something that you got to keep in mind. Mind, will, and emotion. I should have told you to leave some space. Because under the mind, there's 5 things. Under the will, there's 5 things. And under the emotion, there's 5 things. Under the mind is the intellect. See, in the mind is where you carry your intellect, right?
Yes.
Your imaginations.
Yeah.
Your thoughts. Your logic. And your reasonings. They're all in your mind. That's what's in the mind. Thoughts, logic, reasoning, intellect, and imaginations. I'm going too fast? Okay. That's what's in your mind. Now think about it. If your mind leads you, you're led by your imaginations, your logic, your reasoning, your thoughts, instead of being led by God.
That's right.
Okay? So that's what's in your mind. In your will is your intent, your desire, your decisions, your choice, and your purpose. Okay, so now I know it's in my mind, and I know it's in my will, and in your emotions, you're basically dealing with, this is pretty simple, your feelings, your 5 senses, your emotions, your feelings. That's where you love, hate, anger, have joy, sorrow, compassion. That's all in your emotions, okay? That's how you are made up. That's how you're made up. Your soulish nature is made up your mind, your will, and your emotions. And of course, you know your body is made up of systems. Circulatory, respiratory, bones, skeletal, and muscular. That's the body. Now, that's how you're made up. But in the Bible it says that we're 3 parts. I just told you about one. That's your soulish nature. You have a spirit and a body. You know what the body is. Now the spirit, if you want to write this down, the spirit is made up of intuition. You ever heard of mother's intuition? How mothers feel something and don't know how they feel it, but they just feel it. Your mother will call you up and say, "Hey Joe, I just feel like things are not going well with you. What's going wrong?" And then you say, "Oh yeah, this is going wrong." Mothers just feel stuff. It's called intuition. You ever heard of mother's intuition? They just feel it. There's some way they connect. So in your spirit is intuition, communion, and conscious. Now, in your spirit is intuition. That's how you know that you know that you know, but you don't know how you know. That's intuition. That's how you just know something, but don't know how you know it, but you know it. You ever had that happen? I know it, but don't know how I know it, but I know it. That's what's in your spiritual sense. That's why when people do wrong, they know they're doing wrong because their spiritual sense tells them, hey, look, you're wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. Nobody has to tell you when you do wrong. You know you're wrong. Okay, so your intuition, your communion, that's the part of you that relates to God. When we're singing praise and worship, that's the part of you that reaches out and communes with God. Doing praise and worship, that's the part of you that's just raring to get out and to worship God. And if you just let it go, it will commune with God. That's the communion part of your spirit. And the last part of your spirit is the conscious. The conscious. And then I'm going to another level. Stay with me. There was a little boy. They were in first grade and they said, hey, does anybody in here know what conscious is? The little boy says, I know what conscious is. They said, okay, buddy boy, what is it? Oh, conscious is, it's science. You know how children do sometimes. It's, you don't know. Just have a seat, buddy boy. And so this other little girl gets up. I know what conscious is. What is it? Conscious is my auntie's name. They just no, that's not what it is. And then this little boy gets up. I think he was probably from the Philippines or something because he was of Asian descent. And he says, I know what conscious is. And the teacher said, what is conscious? He said, conscious is a triangle that's sharp on every point. And every time you do something wrong, it sticks you. He said, but after you do so many wrong things, conscience keeps sticking you, keeps turning, points wear off, conscience don't bother you no more. You see what I mean? Conscience don't bother you and there's no more prickly parts to it. So the conscience is that part of you that reminds you when things ain't right. So if you tune in to the spirit realm, it will tell you, and conscience never deals with you from the outside. It always deals with you from the inside. If something is coming to you from the outside, pressure is on you from the outside, it's usually not God, it's usually the devil. When it's pressuring you from the outside, do this, do this, do this, you know you got to do it. Whenever you see that happen, that ain't God. God's spirit is like a dove, and it always touches you from the inside softly, and it persuades, hey, why don't you do that? But if you yelling and screaming and using your logic and reason and imaginations, you can't hear God talking. Sometimes you just have to be quiet and let your spirit commune with God and hear what God is saying through your intuition, and then you can operate from a spiritual perspective. I know this is kind of deep, but let me tell you.